In this box is the White Whale Junior, a Reverb, a Tremolo, a mini version. It is the junior version of their amazing pedal, the White Whale version 2, and in this video, we're going to find out if it's any good, and I'm going to compare it to that. In the box, you get some packing foam, some instructions and a user guide, a thank you from Crazy Tube Circuits, some optional feet, and of course, the White Whale Junior itself. So that's a lovely big reverb in a small box. And the V2 White Whale is also not that big, but it is just a little bit too cumbersome to put on a pedal board, some might say, unless that is the main source of your sound. And I've had it in the back of the videos and through effects loops very often, and also in live use. But if the White Whale Junior can also get me to where I want to be, I'm a massive fan of saving some space on the pedal board. I mean, it is smaller, it's not exactly half size, and that's because in the White Whale Junior there are 3 springs still. This is still a real spring reverb. There's nothing digital going on in there, there's no algorithms, and you'll hear it if I tap it. You can also do the reverb crash, and a quick warning, if you're wearing headphones, you might want to, this might, jump up in volume. It's not the world's most satisfying reverb crash. I feel I am being a little bit subtle with the crash. Maybe if I just bring the mix down a bit. Oh yeah, that was better. I was a little bit more brave that time. I'll move this so it's not distracting you for a moment, and we'll go over what the knobs and switches do. Here we have the foot switch that turns the reverb on and off. That turns the tremolo on and off. Then we have at the top right, the dwell. This controls the strength of the signal going into the power amp that drives the spring inside. So you can get some really cool sort of drip sounds, and it affects the decay, the length of the reverb. Then at the top, we've got the volume of the reverb. Then down here, we've got the mix of the reverb. So this is just a cleaner signal. This is a wetter signal. And then over there is the tone of the reverb, up here being brighter. Then, these 3 knobs here control the tremolo. We've got the volume of the tremolo at the top, which is brilliant, and every tremolo should have a volume control. Then in the middle, we've got the speed, and then we've got the intensity down there. So, you'll also notice that when I turn it on, the speed is on that LED. So if I go super slow, and then the intensity is how dark and how bright that LED gets. I'm not sure how well that's coming over on the video, but I can really see it pulsing, and on a stage, you'd definitely be able to see that. Unlike the version 2 of the White Whale, there is no input for expression pedals or remote switching, or there's no mode for the tremolo, there is no mode for the reverb. What you see is what you get. It is simpler, it is what Crazy Tube Circuits think is the best of the White Whale version 2. So, now that's out of the way, let's have some more sounds. I'm actually going to lay down a loop again, just so we can fiddle with the knobs. We'll do the reverb first, and we'll start with the pedal off. I dig that a lot, and that is very responsive to every slight touch I'm doing, and the tone is interacting with the mix, which is interacting with the dwell. It's not like where you're just setting something that you know is going to be what you want. You have to experiment and play with the pedal. And because it's analog, because that power amp in there is driving those springs inside the pedal, you're getting this authentic, real drive from the pedal, this springy clackiness, and everything is moving. And that's why I've got it going through the front of the Fender Deluxe Reverb, because I wanted to hear it as a tone shaper as well, not just a reverb and tremolo. Let's have a listen to the tremolo. Again, I'll start with it off, but I'll put knobs in the middle. Now, it does get a little noisy when you're pushing all the knobs to the maximum setting, but only a little noisy, and I'm fine with that. One thing I'm not so fine with is the noise of the pedal in general. And what I mean by that is that I love the reverb crash effect, but if you're not used to a pedal doing this, you're going to have a bad time. So when I say I'm not fine with it, I mean that if you're going to use it as a creative effect, very cool. If you want an absolutely silent stage where you're thinking, where's that sound coming from? Why can I hear everything coming through my guitar amp? It's probably this pedal. So you need to be aware of what you're getting when you get it. It's time to play the White Whale Junior against the White Whale version 2. Again, I'll use a loop and play the same loop through both pedals and try and get the same sound. And then I'll show you what you're missing by not getting the version 2. So there's my loop, and now with the magic of editing, you're going to hear White Whale Junior versus White Whale version 2, back to back, no pauses. On the White Whale version 2, you've got 3 reverb settings, long, medium, and short. And to me, the Junior sounds more in the sort of medium area, which would make sense because that's the middle of the two. So you wouldn't want to set it to the short or the long, so let's have the medium. I think you're getting a medium to long-ish reverb sound that you can affect with the dwell and the mix, of course. When it comes to the tremolo, Crazy Tube Circuits have made a lot of choices for you when it comes to the settings. There is no way to change from opto to tube to harmonic tremolo, and there is no pre and post. This is a tube tremolo in here. And although I do really enjoy a harmonic tremolo, I think the tube tremolo is the one that is going to be the most useful. And that's why they've gone for it in the White Whale Junior. So when it comes to tremolo and reverb, I think the White Whale Junior is going to cover most of your authentically analog needs. And it does it so well. It feels like a real spring reverb because it is a real spring reverb. I've been avoiding this for the whole video, but I read that in the manual that you shouldn't take the bottom off because the springs are attached to the bottom. But I'm too curious, and if I do it, it means you don't have to. So let's have a quick look at the springs in there. I'm going to regret this. Once again, do not do this to your pedal. Okay, there are the 3 springs. There's the circuit. It is very tight in there, so there's not much cable connecting the spring backplate to the main board, and that's because we don't want cables flopping around in there. I feel so naughty doing this. If you must know, it is the Accutronics Belton BMN3A B3F reverb spring setup. Close it up. Never see it again. One final look. Go on. You've earned it. That's it. That's all you get. Now, to summarize this pedal, Crazy Tube Circuits make phenomenal pedals. The quality is very high. They are boutique priced. Don't expect a budget pedal, but that's not what you're buying. You're buying one of the best in the business. And Crazy Tube Circuits don't really fail to deliver. I am missing some of the stuff from the White Whale V2, unsurprisingly. And if your sound is based around reverb, if you're in a surf band, then this might not interest you. If you're in a band that wants spring reverb but doesn't have that much space and your digital emulations are just not cutting it, then this is absolutely the right way to go. I can't think of a better pedal to do what this does. And the V2 of the White Whale took the Strymon Flint off my board simply because it sounds far better, because it is better. Okay, there are links to this in the video description. It is out now. You can get it for your board, and I absolutely recommend that you do. What a wonderfully fun pedal. So let me know in the comments section, are the reduced features but reduced footprint enough to make you go for the Junior, or do you need all those tweakability knobs at your fingertips and you want to go for the White Whale version 2? Either way, you're going to get a great tremolo and reverb. Thank you to Face for sending this out for review, and I will see you in the future. Bye-bye!